Good afternoon, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back, Southwest Arkansas weather here on Tuesday. Let's take a quick look at your afternoon update. We're going to go over the winter weather chances for this weekend as well. Got some major updates with that. It looks like a major winter storm is going to be on its way. We're going to go over all the data and talk a little bit about what we could possibly see during that time frame. Starting off with what we currently have ongoing across southwest Arkansas, temperatures range from the 40s and upper 30s into the mid 40s across southern portions of the region. We're going to continue to warm up today into the lower to really the mid to upper 40s and lower to mid 50s across the region. Mostly sunny to sunny skies look like a good possibility as we go throughout the day today, and then as we go into tonight, we do have some possible rain chances into your day on Wednesday. Let's move this forward to the overnight time frame. And once again, this is not going to be a very big rain chance, just some overall, some small rain chances ahead of our big system this weekend. As you can see, some rain chances overnight tonight, according to the HRRR model, through the day there on Wednesday, and those decrease some there as we head towards your time frame for the end of the week. Once again, this is our look at currently what our thoughts are for the winter weather outlook. This could easily change. I'm going to be honest with you, this could easily be adjusted. What we're looking at right now is it's going to be cold enough to have winter weather at the surface. Above us, there's something called warm air advection, and what we have ongoing there is you could be at freezing down here, freezing above us. There could be a little patch of warm air above us, and that's going to be just above freezing. And when that occurs, you get some ice out of that. That's when you get your freezing rain, your sleet, your ice, stuff of that nature. Snow, you want that column in the most simplest way I can make this. You want that column all the way below freezing from the top down. Looks like we're going to have some warm air though, and that's going to lead to some icing issues. And we right now, this is our thoughts on this. Like we said, you could end up this could end up continuing to be adjusted due to that warm air advection. Models like to underplay that warm air advection, and that this is going to be a really tough forecast to pinpoint where exactly that line is at of who sees snow and who sees mainly snow and who sees mainly ice. Once again, right now our thoughts are mainly northern portions of Arkansas, maybe just clipping portions of our region, some snow. It could start out though with some freezing rain, some sleet, and then transition to snow up there, maybe some heavier snow too. Further south, though, you have that wintry mix, that pink colored area where you're going to see wintry mix, maybe a mixture of all of it through this, but mainly freezing rain, and pray that it's sleet. If it's sleet, that helps our case overall and doesn't have a big freezing rain event. But it's looking like a good possibility that we could have an ice storm in some ways. And in that purple color across far southern portions of the region, that's mainly going to be ice. You're going to be dealing with an icing situation. And once again, as we get closer, we'll start to pinpoint this down a little more and try to get you better understandings of this and go over accumulations probably in the next 24 to 36 hours with that. Right now, the timing looks to be Friday afternoon or in the PM Friday into Saturday, and it should be on its way out Sunday morning. We're going to go over some data here, but remember, data's not perfect. This can change and will continue to change as we get closer. I want to make that very clear. That's going to be some things that we got to keep a close eye on as we go forward here with this. So, real quickly, let's go over this data. This is the European model, the newest run of the European model here. And as we go forward, this is just precipitation types. So this is just going to help us get a general idea. As we go into Thursday, going to be a little drier, but as we start to head towards Friday, you can kind of see maybe some cold rain, but a mixture of some freezing rain, some snow, some sleet mixing in up there across northern portions of the region. Further south, though, we start to see that as temperatures should drop throughout the day to get to freezing. Here's the thing, whatever falls, it's going to be here. Saturday, we're going to be in the 20s and teens, and so I'm expecting major impacts to travel and possibly power outages because we're going to show you wind gusts as well with this here in just a few minutes. But as you can see, as we go throughout Friday, you kind of see that blue, that snowy chance across northern portions of Arkansas and further south. This European model it continues to kind of keep that freezing line and that area that's going to be tough to determine who sees what pretty much right across northern portions of our coverage area, mainly across other regions or southern portions of Arkansas. That's a freezing rain and icing ordeal, maybe some sleet. We got to keep a close eye on that, though. You may have a wintry mix up there across northern portions of the region. This is overnight Saturday, and this is wanting to pick up on some heavier chances of precipitation. And you can kind of see, here we go, we start to see that shift Saturday in a way. Maybe some snow across northern portions of the region, and this just continues through Saturday. Now, as this goes out, this is Sunday or overnight Sunday into Sunday morning. It is wanting to move some snow into the area before finally moving out of the state come Sunday. When we look at temperatures, well, first, before we do that, let's take a look at wind gusts. I want to show you what, at the same time, look at this. Winds gusting potentially 30, 20 miles an hour, so you have a bunch of ice on the ground, stuff of that nature. You know what that's going to do. That's going to cause power outages. So take the time this week. Go ahead and prepare. It's never wrong to prepare for this. Real quickly, I want to show you the National Weather Service blend of models. This blends all the models together, and this usually kind of gives a good median and doesn't do like overdo totals. This just helps us kind of get a base for overall these winter systems, temperature-wise, or rainfall amounts, or snowfall amounts, all that fun stuff. So that just gives us a base. But as we go into this week, you're going to notice temperatures as we go into Friday, they cool throughout the day. And then as we go into Saturday, look at this. Saturday morning, 6 a.m., still with precipitation falling, you're in the teens and 20s. So like we say, usually your roads on freezing rain events, you start to have issues with your bridges and overpasses and power lines and elevated surfaces at about 30 to 32 degrees, or 30, 32 degrees. Roads are a little less, but when you're around here, or you got to be a little cooler, but when you're around here, that's going to cause issues. I mean, you're in the teens and 20s. This is 12 p.m. on Saturday, and the National Weather Service blend of models, which just gives us a base, is showing teens and 20s on Saturday. That's cold air. I want to make that very clear. Sunday, even colder. 12 p.m., you're in the 20s still. You don't get above freezing until possibly, well, this doesn't even keep us, this is keeping us cold even into Monday as well. So whatever falls, it's going to be here for a bit. I just want to make that very clear. Let's take a look at the precipitation or like the QPF totals if this was just rainfall. Okay, this just shows how heavy this is going to be as we go throughout this. Because winter weather, you got to remember, it's different in the way rain totals work and all that stuff. What this shows is there's a lot of moisture available for this. If we take a look at the total snowfall off of this, remember, don't take these totals as that's exactly what's going to happen. This is going to shift. Things will change. This is just a base to kind of help understand what we're meaning, where some are going to see snow, some are going to see freezing rain and ice out of this. When we go forward here, you can see, just as a base, this is wanting to put a decent amount of snow across portions of the area. As you can see, there's a sharp cutoff where we see some heavier snow totals. Don't necessarily pay attention to the amounts, but the general idea. There's that big cutoff where you have a lot of snow, and then you start to get to a little less. Why is that? Well, if we take a look here, give me one moment here, let me pin this right here. If we take a look at the total ice accumulations, there you go. That shows you heavier stuff, and for this to be picking up on a half an inch of ice possibilities already, that's a big sign. So I just want to make that very clear. We are looking at probably for most of southwest Arkansas, a big icing event unless something changes. Looks like we're going to have temperatures are going to stay warm just above us right now. We'll be below freezing down here, but above us, you'll be you'll be a few degrees above freezing potentially, and that'll make that the snow melt into that warm layer and freeze as it goes back, or as it reaches the ground with that thin area that is below freezing on contact. Pretty much, it's going to look like rain, but if you're below freezing, that's freezing rain. Best case scenario is that colder air, that warm layer is a little thinner, and those can refreeze as sleet pellets, and we don't see as many issues with icing. Snowfall, once again, northern Arkansas looks like they may get lucky on this. Still not taking out of consideration northern portions of our coverage area. We're going to watch that closely, but I want to make this very clear. These accumulation totals will change. We're going to put out our first accumulation maps probably within the next 24 to 36 hours. Be careful. Model data, pure model data that's out there on Facebook. It's going to show you a lot of different things. It's that time of year. People make money off of posting a lot of stuff. I will say though, this does look like a major winter storm, maybe even an ice storm across southern Arkansas. I just want to make that very clear. So go ahead and take the time to prepare for that possibility. Once again, I'll scroll that down just a little further south there and show you what we're meaning with that. Once again, with those snow totals, you can see there on that. Not that don't pay attention to the amounts, but necessarily just the overall picture. There's going to be an area that sees snow. There's going to be an area that sees freezing rain. Where that sets up at, I'll say this middle area right here where there's a mixture of both, that is going to be the hardest. That area is going to be the hardest area to get to pinpoint down. That's a tough forecast to try to pinpoint where that's at because the atmosphere is a fluid and we know how things can change. Once again, though, the overall idea is we are going to see there's going to be a mixture of some let me get off of that real quick. Did not mean to show that. That's just pure model data right there. That's just showing you a bunch of snowfall being a possibility. Heed caution with that. Like I said though, is it out of the possibilities? No, it's not. But once again, the National Weather Service blend of models is a good base. It is showing higher amounts, so it could be a possibility as we go forward. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But once again, main idea is with this, as we go forward here, you can continue to get the general idea that we're going to start to see freezing rain or see a wintry mix, winter weather of some sort, mainly freezing rain and ice down here across southern Arkansas, some sleet up here, and some snowfall across northern portions of the region. And then that may be a transition to some snow, maybe on the backside of that as that moves out. Possibly. We'll have to keep an eye on that. For the most part, though, across far southern portions of the area, mainly ice. Probably a little bit more of a wintry mix as you go further north, although that can change. I really think most of southwest Arkansas at this time sees mainly ice out of this. So that's just a quick little overview of that. Once again, you just seen with temperatures, it's going to be cold. Best way to put it, simplest way to put it in Arkansas, South Arkansas standards, it's going to be cold. So make sure you have ways to stay warm and just be prepared to have for power outages and being able or having road issues as well, because I mean, with temperatures as low as they are, whatever falls, it's here. It's going to be there for the weekend, maybe even into Monday. So definitely expect issues like that. Make sure you're prepared. Go through your winter weather checklist and you got all your stuff that you need, and be prepared. Make plans accordingly for that. And once again, probably going to be a time frame. If you don't got to travel, don't try to travel. Just let this weekend sit. If you can sit at home, enjoy it, and try to sit back and don't try to go out and travel if you don't have to. Once again, it's Tuesday. That's Friday. There's things that can change, and we will continue to iron out those details. It's Arkansas. Winter weather is always fun, but difficult to forecast. Remember that. Things can change. As always, though, I want to make one more thing. A lot of your apps, unless they're locally owned and operated by local meteorologists here in the state, a lot of the apps like Apple Weather, stuff of that nature, it's going to show you random snowfall amounts. Don't listen to that. Like we always say, one app I recommend, Arkansas Weather Network, their app, that they have locally owned Arkansas meteorologists who put in their information to that. I suggest their apps, your local news channel apps, KTV, KRK, Arkansas Storm Team. You know, there's so many options. Just be careful with those Weather Channel, AccuWeather, and Apple weather apps because what they do is they purchase just pure model data and put it right into their app and take out the human element, and that's why you see those snowfall totals jump around like that. I don't even know why they put those snowfall totals in there this far out, because like we said, that's like throwing a dart on a pin or on a billboard and going, let's go with that. That's this far out. You still got to, once again, 24 next 36 hours, we start to kind of iron out the accumulation maps, and those will be adjusted accordingly up until the event starts to occur, and probably through the event, just because we know how it is with winter weather. As always, it's nothing we're not used to in Arkansas. Just be prepared, not scared. Have multiple ways to get your weather information, and make sure you're prepared. Best thing to be is prepared. And hey, if it doesn't end up doing anything, which this looks like a very good possibility, it will. If it don't though, and you're prepared, nothing wrong with that. Always better to be prepared than not and be surprised the day of an event. As always, big thanks to all of our sponsors for making this possible. Have a great rest of your afternoon. See you this evening for an updated look at the evening weather blog and what's in store for the winter weather chances.